Hi.
Hi, handsome.
Welcome to the test of our podcast studio. We have spent quite a bit of time. Babe, your headphones look like a headband. I don't think it's supposed to look like that.
Yo, listen, whether they like it or not, this is what it is. I'm just saying, like, people don't have to like this situation. It is my headband.
Okay.
Look, free advertisement. We are not getting paid for this, but we would like to.
Yeah,
See the situation?
We got to change all that branding.
Yo.
But yours is like slipping. It's going to be over your eyes. It's going to look like a blindfold in a second.
It's okay. You're going to be okay. Unless you have a suggestion for how you want me to wear this, it's about to be worn just like this.
I guess you're going to leave it like that.
I can shift it back for you. Look,
Shift
just
it back.
for you. Look.
See? Oh, that's good.
Oh, my gosh.
that's
Shiny
good.
forehead situation.
Yeah, it's a little hot.
Yeah.
Well, I got to balance that fan so that we,
Because guess what I'm not going to do?
what?
Wear makeup.
You don't wear makeup, so it doesn't matter.
I know.
Yeah. What? That's
Shiny forehead.
Oh.
They put
No, we
powder
need
on it.
air in here to prevent the sweatage.
This is not sweat. This is natural oils, baby.
Natural oils.
Yes. You don't see that situation is not sweat.
Wait, with mine too, baby. You see that? That's just my
That's
natural oil is called.
Good old fashioned. That's why we don't crack.
All right, so we're testing our audio,
Yes.
testing our lighting. Mm-hmm. We have been working on this for a long time, moving stuff, moving lights.
Oh, you're so cute. I love how you're including me in on this.
But
However, you have been getting it in. And I've just been readily available whenever you need me.
But it's still we, it's still us.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
But it's coming along really well, I think.
Indeed, it is. I actually like hearing myself. I wish there were smaller buds.
Oh, I can do that.
It allows me to be mindful of my tone. It allows me to be mindful of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Buts, ands, Like I'm more conscious now, hearing my own self, that I'm not doing those things.
I will get you some headphones that don't go over your head and mess up the whole throat. They'll just go right into the earbuds.
Like if I could wear those would be great because I could hear you just fine.
Yes.
And I've noticed that I'm not saying ums, buts, and otherwises.
Because you're paying attention to what you're saying. That's why.
I can hear it though.
Right. And if you didn't have the headphones on, you wouldn't be aware.
I wouldn't be as
saying.
conscious as I am right now. Yes.
Okay. I'll get us some little earbuds to go in each ear. I think that'll work really
I know. What are we going to do about these though?
We'll just hang on to them. I can use those in the studio.
Because you don't like returning anything.
No, I don't.
I know.
Like I bought a bunch of lenses and I'm thinking, I'll just hang on to them because I have other cameras I can put them on. I don't like returning stuff.
You know what I like right now?
What?
You sound raspy.
Hey, yo, you know what I'm saying?
You sound great. I like it. It's cute.
So this is the test footage for our podcast. The podcast is going to be coming up
as soon as it comes up.
As soon as it comes up.
Exactly.
I was really hoping that we were going to get it, the first one, the launch, the introduction, which this is technically becoming the introduction. But I was hoping that this was going to be live before the marriage, but now the marriage is coming up literally next weekend on Sunday.
Yeah.
So probably won't be able
I'm glad you remember.
Probably won't be able to get a full first podcast episode done, edited, and put onto our YouTube channel by then. But this little test footage that we're running, I'm sure the people that are watching us will enjoy that.
Yeah.
As we're testing it out.
Indeed.
Tell them about the podcast.
Well, it's about us. It's about Israelite life, you know, and how we live our life and allowing people to come into the things that we do on a daily basis. I love our conversations, but I don't think many people get the chance to hear that type of dialogue, that type of interaction. Yeah. And I see it in the comments, amongst other comments, but I do see it in the comments of how much people appreciate it because many of us don't have the modeling out there. And I think this offers that opportunity for people to see those type of exchanges.
I think so too. I think people will be able to learn a lot by seeing how we interact with each other, our normal conversations. Like a lot of times when I'm teaching on open and honest communication, people hear that, but they need to see it modeled so that they'll understand what it's like.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I think the fact that us doing this podcast, I mean, I'd say the vlog was really cool. It really was. And
Well, it is. It's not over.
No, it's not over.
We're still doing the
But
vlog.
it was a lot of those clips of just different things we decided to kind of put into our video. But I think this podcast allows people to see, all right, well, I mean, they might not always say, for my opinion, they might not always say exactly the right things, or, what are their expressions, or what are their viewpoints about a thing in the moment.
Right.
There's no, I wouldn't think there's any technical editing to all of our stuff. Some stuff you ain't gonna be able to crop out.
Right. Well, so the vlog is edited, which allows us to put exactly what we want in there. But
exactly.
I think maybe people think that it's scripted, and it's not scripted. It is live. That's our real life, but it is edited. But here, just running a couple different cameras and talking live, it's technically unedited. So we'll have the opportunity to speak freely.
Yeah, I like that.
Me too.
Yeah, it'll be all the way live.
It's getting hot in here.
My whole entire body, but we also just ate. So for me, my body heats up after eating. Yeah. Especially certain foods.
Well, I need to fix that ceiling fan. It's just not balanced. So if I turn it on, we're going to start hearing a boom, boom, boom. It's like the ceiling fan is literally going to start making its own beat in the background. We don't want that.
I've heard it before. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So in the Israelite Life podcast, we will be talking about literally Israelite life, what it's like in our life, what it means to be an Israelite, because a lot of people think that it's a religion. And I'm constantly trying to tell people it's not a religion, it's an identity.
Yeah.
Once you embrace the identity and you realize this is my life, it'll change everything. Because for some people, it starts off as just being a habit. This is some stuff that I do. It's a habit. I wear fringes sometimes.
Yeah.
Then after you get a community of people together, then it's more like, okay, well, it's not such a habit. It's more of a lifestyle.
Agree.
And then after you've been in that lifestyle for a while, then all of a sudden you realize this is not a lifestyle. This is my
this is who
identity.
I am, right?
Israelite life.
Agree. I agree. I feel like you'll know when it's shifted when people start saying, "You different.
Yeah.
You're not the same like you used to be."
Yeah.
And they get mad.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, I actually want the old you." You be like, "Wait a minute, time out." And it's never going to be that way anymore. Yeah.
And everyone experiences that because the changes are so radical, so different. It's the refining process changes so much of you, from your appearance to how you talk to how you think, that your friends that are not also experiencing that change in their own life, they see the difference in us that are experiencing that right away. And they usually have a negative reaction.
Yeah, many of them do. I'd have to say, you've said it very keenly before. It literally is a mental, a physical, and a spiritual transformation, as it should be. And I literally can, visualize multiple scriptures at this moment talking in that manner, as we are supposed to be that way. And so it does change you, but for the good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who see so much bad and think they're living good, they think that what's being done is way too much for them to understand. So they have to box it in and say, something's wrong.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Classic statement. Are you
in a cult?
The question statement is, you're in a cult. Question is, are you in a cult?
They don't actually look at all the positive changes that are happening in your lives when you begin to actually walk in your identity. They're not looking at all of those things.
No.
They're looking at how different you are now from the way that you were before.
In comparison, though, to them.
Yeah.
You get a lot of those statements like, you're different. I remember someone saying to me, and they were very honest, and I appreciated them being so open in their emotions in the moment. They said, I don't know how we're going to relate to each other anymore. And I said, well, What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
Because who I am is actually the same person you love.
Yeah.
The things about me that you love, they exist still within me. I've only added value to who I already am. Mm-hmm. So what part of it?
But people in general don't like change, so they don't embrace it, and they view change as a bad thing. So when they see things changing in your life, they want to put a stop to it because they think you're going to lose your identity. And that is a part of what happens.
Yes.
If you were a heathen before, you lose that part of your identity.
You do.
Because you're gaining righteousness as your identity.
Right. And I think the other aspect is people don't, in the spectrum of how they've done it, changes happen so slowly. And it's happened based on what other people have told them what change is supposed to look like.
Okay.
Here it's like, no, sometimes it's literally the next day.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Or, oh yeah, I'm doing that. I'm popping these fringes on right now.
on everything. Yeah.
I remember someone saying to me, it's just fringes all on your clothes and on everything. And I was like, yeah.
But so the thing that I wonder about, and I haven't experienced this in so long, but I'm like, why does it offend them?
I asked that question.
It has nothing to do with them.
I asked that question.
Okay.
And their answer was the thing I just told you a minute ago. They didn't understand how they would be able to relate. They believed in the relationship prior, and they saw the relationship as it was prior. And then after, they're like, well, how do we fit? Can we talk to each other spiritually like we used to? Are we going to be able to laugh and joke about things that we used to laugh and joke about? Or am I still going to be invested in your life the way we used to be invested? And the interesting thing is, none of those things technically changed.
Right.
Only one variable, and it's because they couldn't wrap their heads around why is what they're doing different and exciting, and why is it uncomfortable to me? Because nobody asked that question. They don't ask it of themselves. Why is this making me so uncomfortable?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's been so many years for me that I don't, the identity has been so solidified over the years that I don't experience any of those things anymore, you know?
Right, but you did in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Right, but it's so far, in the past that it's not a fresh thing.
So when people are, different members of our congregation are talking, they're expressing those things, I'm like, just deal with it. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Because I'm so far removed from the transformation process. And now I'm just like, if people don't accept you the way you are now, they really didn't accept you before.
Wow. And that's actually the root. That's actually the resounding gong.
Yeah.
If anyone was looking out for your best interest overall, period, in the subject since the beginning until the moment in which they felt as though you changed, they would still look out for your best interest. It wouldn't be about whether they felt comfortable or not, unless there was an immediate danger.
I agree.
Now, I understand. Good friends, they'll look out for your best interest, and this is dangerous. But when people can't give facts for why they believe this isn't right, I don't understand why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. It's a whole identity. There's really no other way to describe Israelite life. I usually try to say, so that people can get the idea of it, is the Most High, Yahweh, being a good father, has outlined everything that he desires for his children, so that all we have to do is ask permission and be obedient. Right? He's told us what we can wear, what we can eat, who we can hang out with. Like, think about a parent who's looking out for their children. They're going to give them a list of do's and a list of don'ts, not because they want to be a dictator over their life, but because they want to protect them. And that's what he did for us. That's what Israelite life is.
I would have to agree. And that's why it was so easy, I think, to say yes and amen to what was already actually true. My mind actually doesn't think about it as Israelite life, but the life I was always supposed to be living based on whatever the Bible had said, not what someone interpreted it as, but actually what it said out there. And what is said in the word. And so it's been really a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
To get to know who I am and whose I am, and to understand the fact that obedience is actually quite easy. What I mean by that is I actually like my character by nature. I like structure. I like rules. I like to know my boundaries. And it allows me to stick within the boundaries, but also at the same time, it allows me to say, well, what else are my options if it was outside of that?
Yeah.
And the Most High sets all of those. He says, that, okay, listen, you can go this far. If you go further than that, there are going to be problems.
Yeah.
So it will not go well for you.
Yes.
Or it will go excellent. Please do this and it will go excellent for you. Like it's limitless.
I think when I first came into the truth, I would describe myself differently than I do now. Like, as you're saying, you like structure and rules. I think when I first came into the truth over 20-something years ago, I didn't like rules or structure. I had a problem with authority. I wanted to challenge every possible thing at the time. And the refining process was me learning that I'm not in control of anything, but he's in control of everything.
Yeah.
And even though it seems like I have to surrender my control over to him, you don't really surrender over anything. That's an illusion. He has control whether you surrender it or not.
Yeah.
So once I realized that, I was like, oh, well, I can just be who he wants me to be and do what he wants me to do and not rebel against what he's already pushing me in the direction of. That changed a lot of my perspective because the rules and all of those things that we're dealing with, that has a lot to do with rebellion. And the children of Israel, we are rebellious by nature. The commandments are designed to bring us back from rebellion to being obedient because Israelite life is obedient to the Most High.
It is. Yeah. You mentioned something about rebellion, right? And pardon me. And not actually liking the rules and the boundaries. I personally value them and appreciate them because it allows me to take a minute to reflect on that thought process of surrendering. Like, you're right. We don't really surrender anything over. The Most High knows everything and he's in control of everything. But I do have to surrender over an aspect in order to shift my mind, which is I have been, for most of my life, living in a lot of misinformation. And I have to shift and say, will I let go of the misinformation in order to receive what is right and true?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's difficult because I know better the misinformation than I do the new information.
Everyone does. You have so many years of living a lifestyle of misinformation, right? So that's literally old wine in an old wine skin. Then you have to put this new wine into this new wine skin, and nobody likes that according to the scriptures.
No, and you try to wedge this, you try to merge them in a way that feels most comfortable.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Stripping away what isn't true, and it's not even a replacement, is coming to the realization that it was never true at all.
I absolutely agree, baby. Those are some great points that you brought out. Talking like this is so easy. I'm very excited about our podcast. It's going to be awesome.
I agree.
So this is just a basic, quick pseudo introduction for our viewers, but I'm hoping that we have the opportunity to sit down like this at least once a week to begin. Probably about 2 hours. We're going to hopefully upload them every Monday morning at 6 a.m.
That'd be great.
Looking
I'm
forward
excited.
to it. Yes. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, share these videos. The Israelite Life podcast will be broadcasting right here on our channel, but it will also be an audio podcast that you will be able to listen to on your favorite audio podcasting stations. Until we see you again, shalom.
Shalom.